What up, y'all? It's your boy Ill Will, and today I am bringing you my top 5 classic horror films of all time. Again, it's my top 5 classic horror films of all time. Not yours, but mine. So if you disagree with me, that's perfectly okay. That just means your taste in horror movies suck. I'm just playing, y'all, but no, not really. I'd also like to point out that most of the movies on this list were created and released in the 80's. So if I decide to do a top 5 90s horror movie list or top 5 2000s horror movie list, so on and so forth, I can do that in the future if I choose to. But without further ado, here we go. At the number 5 spot, we have Rawhead Rex. When I tell you this ugly, hideous looking fucking monster thingy traumatized me as a fucking kid, bro, I'm not lying. That shit was crazy. The only other fucking movie monster that I remember that came out in the 80's, it was just as ugly as him, if not fucking uglier, was Pumpkinhead. But yet, he didn't make the list. He's number 5 on the list because he fucking deserved that shit. I ain't fucking seen this shit since I was a goddamn kid, so that just tell you how fucking scary it was. Shit was fucking crazy. This motherfucker was just destroying motherfuckers, bro. I think he based on like a fucking some type of fucking old scary ass British folklore monster or some shit. And the fucking movie, the screenplay was done by Clive Barker, who made Hellraiser. So you know the shit crazy. You know the fucking movie still stand up today. So yeah, he deserves that number 5 spot. Rawhead Rex, crazy, 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 and traumatizing for children. At the number 4 and number 3 slots are the films Waxwork and its sequel. And for anybody who want to talk shit about me using a double image or whatnot, this is the reason why this is my list and not yours. So shut the fuck up. But no, obviously I could have used separate images, but you know, it is what it is. Both films I remember, you know what I'm saying, from my childhood. And it definitely was interesting. I think the both movies was dope and scary, but I think the first Waxwork was the scariest, and I think the second Waxwork they probably I don't want to say I don't think they turned it into a horror comedy maybe, but I think Bruce Campbell is in a the sequel part 2, but I could be wrong. But either way, I just remember that I remember at least the first one being scary. You know, I haven't seen either of these films in a while either, just like Rawhead Rex, but I definitely remember them being scary and the story being interesting. So you know, definitely number 4 spot, number 3 spot, Waxwork 2. At the number 2 spot, we have the original 1988 film version of Fright Night. This is my shit. Always has been my shit as a child. Crazy concept. Fucking got random guy moves next door. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the fucking, you know, uh, the lady's son didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? He thinking he was a serial killer at first. You know what I'm saying? Till he actually found out he was a fucking vampire and shit. And that was crazy. Crazy little concept at the time, I'm sure. One of the standout moments I remember from the fucking film that they kind of changed in the 2011 remake was the fucking the nightclub scene where he actually, like, in the remake, the you know what I'm saying, Jerry Dandridge the vampire got away with his girlfriend, but in the original he actually caught up to his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? He was bold too because he ain't think, you know what I'm saying, fucking the vampire was gonna try nothing in public and shit, and the motherfucking bouncers came up on him like, you gotta leave. And this motherfucker started growling and fucking fuck both of the bouncers up. I was like, damn. I was traumatized as hell from that scene alone. I think he sliced the fucking one bouncer neck open and picked the other one up and tossed his ass. That shit was crazy as hell. Only other gangster scene in that motherfucker was he still ended up fucking leaving with his girl Amy, hypnotizing her and shit. That shit was crazy. Like, if a motherfucking vampire take your bitch, dog, motherfucking vampire take your bitch, dog, you gotta move. You gotta relocate. I'll give y'all 2 honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 goes to the sequel of Fright Night. This was definitely a good film back in the day. It brought the main 2 of the main characters back. You know, brought some new characters too. But you know, plot wise, story wise, the concept was dope. You know what I'm saying? I think like the Jerry Daniels had a sister and shit that wanted to avenge his death. So you know, pretty much it was like came in, you know, with her squad and shit, you know, pretty much just systematically started, you know what I'm saying, mentally fucking with him and shit like that. And yes, I mean, definitely an honorable mention. And honorable mention number 2 would be My Boyfriend's Back, which actually came out in '93. So it's technically not a classic, but classic enough. And it also wasn't like just straight horror. It was actually a horror comedy, but definitely one of my favorite films as a kid, you know what I mean? Especially when dude, died and came back to life. And obviously, I get the concept now, being older and shit. Obviously the overall concept and the overall theme of the movie was love. Like, what would you do, or how far would you go, to come back for the person you love. So, obviously as a kid, you don't understand shit like that, but being older now, definitely get it. So, definitely want to what I'm saying, definitely deserves an honorable mention. Fucking love this movie. And for my top 5 list of classic horror films of all time, first place goes to Night of the Demons. Pretty sure my auntie put me up on this movie as a kid. Pretty sure I was like about 8 or 9 or some shit like that, maybe younger, maybe a little older. But either way, this film scared the fuck out of me. It came out with 2 sequels and the fucking reboot in '09. The sequels are definitely decent, definitely just as scary. The reboot, I mean, it was, I feel like the reboot served its purpose because it has, like, obviously, got the newer stars or whatnot. Obviously, films get outdated, so I get like Hollywood got to, eventually, like, do remakes and shit, give, like, newer actors a chance to shine and shit like that, so yeah, sequels definitely held up, and the reboot, it was decent, but this will always fucking reign supreme, bro. Like, this shit, from the whole story, from, like, what I'm saying, the group of kids, what I'm saying, going to a abandoned goddamn funeral home, and the whole story of Whole House, what I mean. And yeah, man, I mean, like I said, this shit was crazy. Like, from the moment, like, obviously, I think it's like a slow burn, kind of, maybe. But I mean, like, they build a story up. They get you interested in the characters. Stooge, Raj, you know what I mean? Just to say the least, got the jock boyfriend, so on and so forth. Got the class clown. Yeah, everything about this movie is just, just top tier for me, man. Also, for my people who know, who are also fans of this, Raj was the only black character in this movie. It was one of the first black characters to actually survive a horror film in the fucking '80s, bro. So I definitely had to mention that. Raj was my dude, yo. He made nothing but smart moves throughout the whole fucking movie, yo. Now I ain't gonna lie, the final girl who survived with Raj, Judy, fucking blonde white chick, she was motherfucking stupid as hell. She was stupid as shit. She made so many motherfucking dumbass choices and shit. I was so fucking surprised that she actually survived. But yeah, more happy that Raj survived than anything. And I will also be remiss to not mention the lead demon, Angela. Even though she wasn't the first person to turn into a demon in the story, Susan, I think her name was Suzanne, because she got possessed first. And then once she fucking kissed her and transferred her possession to her, and she motherfucking started doing that little dance and shit, and she fucked up Stooge. Oh my goodness. Fuck Stooge up. Oh man, like, yo. Forgive me, spoiler alert for whoever hasn't seen the movie, you know what I mean? But, or maybe, maybe you have seen it and you just, recollect it with me and shit. But either way, man, this shit, everybody did that thing, man. The fucking the makeup effects team, because look at this bitch, scary as fuck, bro. But nah, man, the creature design and shit, the makeup, prosthetics and shit. I give props to the actors and the actresses who actually, had to sit in chairs and, what I'm saying, get that shit applied for hours. Now that I've actually gotten older, I know how movies are made or whatnot. Like, man, I give them props, yo, because that shit was very fucking traumatizing at a young age, bro. But now overall, definitely love it. Definitely deserves the number 1 spot for top classic horror movies of all time.